Nope. Dang it. Stay. Welcome back, everyone. Well, I guess I haven't done a whole lot as far as videos here recently. Sort of had a lot of stuff going on. If you guys have been following my channel, you know I want to get a grapple for my tractor. So I was trying to think of a way to try to purchase one. And since I don't cut wood anymore for, you know, personal use for myself, I got to think, well, you know what? I've got a log splitter that I just don't use anymore. So I think I'm gonna try to get that thing running and throw that thing up for sale, try to cover some of the cost for a grapple and the third function. We're gonna go out and get my log splitter that's still out in the woods and has been sitting there for a year, and see if we can't get that thing going and do an oil change. I'm gonna assume that the carburetor's gummed up because somebody probably forgot to shut the fuel off, and try to get that thing posted to where we can sell it and try to get a little bit of money to help get my grapple for this thing. So let's go out and get this thing hooked up. We'll get it drugged back here to the barn and see if we can't get that thing going. And I found something else while I was out there hunting the other day. Figure I'll show you guys. I don't know if I'm going to try to harvest it or not, but you guys can let me know. So I was up here walking around during rifle season, trying to see if I could find anything. Did not find a deer, but this is pretty neat. That looks like one big burl. I don't know what kind of tree it is, and I really don't know if it's worth doing anything with or not. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff. I do know that there are some, you know, pretty crafty woodworkers that really like that stuff. Anyways, I thought it was pretty neat. I figured maybe somebody can give me some information on that, whether it's, you know, worth harvesting or just let it go. I don't know. All right, we'll get back to getting this pulled back down to the barn and see if we can't get this thing running. Well, hopefully this video is not going to be too dark. I would go into the other barn, but all the wind seems to be blowing across into that one. That's the reason why I chose this one. Well, it may not be as bad as I thought. So it looks like I did have the fuel shut off, which is a plus. I'm gonna have the ignition off and just pull this thing over a few times just to circulate that oil some on the crank and the rod bearing before I get trying to start it. And then we'll see what it does. Maybe it'll run. We're gonna try to cheat just a little bit, see if we can't get the fire off. So I went ahead and pulled this cover off. I thought it was just gonna be these two nuts that were on here, but there's also two screws right here, and they take a T20 Torx bit to get them out. And then we have this mess. So I'm gonna take these two out, and then there is a bolt right here. I'm gonna get this cover pulled off, and we'll go ahead and pull that carburetor off of there and see how nasty it is. There, that'll work. So, got the carburetor, and we're gonna go ahead and pop this bowl off and see what we have inside. Oh, I said we're going to. Boy, that bugger's on there. Hopefully I'm getting all this in there. Hopefully that gasket didn't rip. Well, it's actually not too awful bad inside there. I mean, there's a little bit of rust on the bottom of that bowl, but not nothing terrible. The inside of the carburetor doesn't look too bad either. Alright. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and spray this thing down and clean it out. And it looks like we've got a little filter right here too. Check that guy, make sure that it's clean, and then we'll get this thing put back together and see if we can't make it run. Maybe it's just the bad gas in it. Maybe that's the reason why I'm having to run it full choke. Still, doesn't hurt to pull it apart and check it. Don't know if you can see all that rust and stuff in there. I mean, that's not good. We'll get that cleaned out too. Now, I would pull this jet out here, but I know I don't have a screwdriver to fit that with me. So we're going to try to spray carburetor cleaner through everything that we can. Nope, dang it. Stay. Now there's two air bleeds right here and right here. We need to make sure those are clear. Alright, I went ahead and cleaned all that stuff out of the bottom of the bowl and got that put back on. As far as this filter housing here, I went ahead and cleaned it out, made sure the screen was all clean. Oh shoot, I should have showed you guys that. Pull this back off real quick. Inside here, I mean, I know there's some corrosion there. That's sort of the joys of aluminum. There's a little port right there. I don't know how well you can see it. And then down inside, let's see here. So there's a port right here. This is going to be your idle. And then there's 4 in here. That's your off idle. So I made sure I was able to get fluid with that carb cleaner through this hole, through those holes, sprayed through those air bleeds, made sure that I got fluid coming back out of them. Like this one here actually went back to the off idle and idle circuit. This one went down into the main jet. But I got all that stuff clean, so clean this here out. I should have done that before I stuck it back on there. Then I'll stick it back on. Now, since there was a bunch of rust on that screen here, I'm sort of glad that I decided to not let this thing completely run out of gas. So now what I'll end up doing is I'll end up draining that tank and flush some clean gas through there, and then I'll put new gas in it, and hopefully we'll be good to go. Okay, now I gotta find something to drain this gas in. So the first little bit of gas I drained out looked like there was some moisture in it. I should have put on video. I already got rid of that, so I'll just finish draining this out, and we'll flush some clean gas through the tank, hook it back up, put some clean gas in it, and see what happens at that point. Hopefully it'll run. I didn't find anything really, you know, terrible inside the carburetor that, like a bunch of varnish buildup. I did thankfully have the gas shut off and let it run out last time I used it. So all right, so sorry, I thought I had the camera running whenever I went to put all this back together. Some phone calls have been sort of screwing that up, but anyways, I did drain the gas, put clean gas in, hooked the fuel line back up, made sure my linkage was hooked up for the governor, and then put all the covers and stuff back on. Poured some fresh gas back in the tank, and we're ready to see if this thing is going to run or not properly. All total time of actually pulling the carburetor, cleaning it, draining the tank, and all that stuff, I probably only had about an hour, roughly. And that probably includes going and grabbing tools and coming back. So it's really not that bad of a job. Carburetors really aren't that difficult once you understand how they work. And I'm sure some of you guys probably know more about them than I do, but just got to make sure every port's clean. That's the main thing about them. So I'm gonna run this thing for a little while and drain the oil out of it, put some fresh oil in it, take some pictures, and put it on good old Facebook Marketplace. Well, there we are. Some fresh oil. I didn't get it on camera. I mean, it's really simple. You pull the, well, I'll show you. Pull that drain plug, you drain the oil out. You take this off, you put your oil in there till it's full on the dipstick. Some cross hatches there. All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.